Hey everybody, welcome back to Day 3, Breakfast with Bob, Challenge Roth Edition. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA, Fly Human Fly, SFuels, Right Fuel, Right Time, Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, the two-time defending champion of Challenge Roth, Mr. Magnus Ditlev, joins us. So fun to have you back.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It feels like coming home. So
yes.
I'm in a very good place, and I'm super happy to be here.
Well, what always impresses me with you is how you learn from every race you do. And for a while on the racetracks, the heat was a problem, right? Yeah. And then this year at Miami, it was hot, and you made sure, okay, I'm a great cyclist, but you're not going to win the race here on the bike. You've got to win this race on the run. You had Allison Brownlee and Sam Laidlaw, and you let them go, and you got cool, you kept your body cool, you got fueled, and you won the race on the run.
Yep.
That probably meant a lot to you.
Yeah, that meant a lot. It was, I think, first of all, that's really a testament not only for me, but to my entire team, because I'm a young guy. I want to go hard all the time.
Yes.
I have such an amazing team of people around me that helps me analyze the races and helps me come up with new strategies to always improve.
Yes.
And as you say, that really meant a lot to me. It was, first of all, the first race of the T100 series.
Yes.
So being able to win the first one is quite special. And then I also felt it was probably the first time that I kind of raced to my potential on the shorter distance. Like, I've raced really well full distance before, but haven't really nailed the half and PTO distance yet. And being able to do that on the first T100 in such a strong field, on a course where I have had some epic meltdowns before, that was amazing.
But you know, it's so funny when people talk about epic meltdowns. Unless you go for it, you don't know what your body can do.
Yeah.
Right? When you were off the front, you're not thinking I'm going to blow up. You're thinking I'm good, and then you blow up, and then you learn from that. You know, you win or you learn. Yeah. And then the next thing you do is you go to Alcatraz, freezing cold, jumping off a boat, the epic event. And you're just one spot, you get a fourth there. You're one spot off the podium, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I had a crash like in Singapore where I broke my wrist. So I was coming, that was pretty, I was training well, but I didn't have so much, like I was also coming straight from altitude, prepping for this race especially. So I was really pleased with the Alcatraz also, because it was probably not the dynamic that unfolded. It's not to my
not to your advantage at all.
Advantage, so I was very pleased actually with Alcatraz.
Yeah, I mean seriously, when I look back at just this whole the whole last year with fifth in Florida, going 748 there, and then World Championship in Nice. Now talk about a course that I know when we talked beforehand, you're thinking, I think this course is actually good for me.
Yeah.
Those long sustained climbs as a big guy. Took a lot, the amount of watts you had to push, but you still ended up on the podium.
Yeah, it ended up probably being not the best. Like, I think I'm really, really strong, but so I have to push. I'm also one of the most heavy guys in the field, so I have to push really big power to go fast up the hills, which I can do, but it kind of you need to pay a bill at one point. And starting the marathon, I was pretty empty, like from the beginning, so I mean, coming on the podium in a World Championships was my first World Championship podium, was pretty special also. Yeah.
Yes. So the first time you win here, you come off the bike, Jan Frodeno, and we're thinking, okay, battle. I'm sure you were looking forward to it. Yeah. It's a little, of course you want to win, but you want him to run. You want him to do it. The fact he dropped out, you win, but it has to be a little bittersweet because you wanted him.
For sure. I just came off my first full distance in Texas like maybe 5 or 6 weeks before. So I was just, and I had a really good experience in Texas, and I came here in Roth when I saw how big, I mean, back then it was such a strong field also.
Yes.
And I knew Jan was coming, so I wanted to kind of see where I stacked up against him.
Yep.
And I bridged the gap on the bike to him, and we rode together on the bike. And then he took socks on in T1, so he had a little bit faster transition than me.
Yes.
And I was like, the only thing I was focusing on the run was looking. He was maybe 100 meters in front of me. I was just looking at his back the entire time, just closing a little bit. And then at one point he pulled out.
Yes.
And I almost ran straight into him because I was only looking at his back, focusing on him, and then he stood still. So I was so focused on trying to get back to him. Yeah. And then it was really difficult after that to, like, you have Jan to focus on and trying to, and then you don't really know how should I motivate myself now. And it's a very big switch just to suddenly you are in a battle and then suddenly
gone.
Second place is more than 10 minutes behind.
Yes.
So even though I was like, I knew if I don't screw up something I would probably win, it was still mentally very difficult. Yeah.
So, and then this last year, it's you guys go, what, 357? Off the you and Sam, and just pushing. Was that something that just happened? Had you guys talked beforehand? Nah, not
no,
really.
We didn't talk beforehand, and that was actually a little bit similar to the year before.
With Jan.
Jan and I rode together in the first year, and then Sam and I rode last year, and he pulled out. So I wonder who's going to. No, I hope to get a really good battle this year. But no, we didn't talk beforehand. But I think when we saw that there was a gap.
And you were right there out of the swim.
Yeah, I had a really good swim first of all, and then when Sam and I saw that we were alone in front, I think when I overtook him, we were changing turns, and I asked him, should we just pull like 20 minutes each, because I knew it would be like he was probably satisfied with the situation, and I think he backed his run as well, and I backed my run.
Exactly.
So, and we both knew we need plus almost 10 minutes on Patrick, so we might as well work together.
Right.
So we just like switched turns, of course keeping the legal distance, but that really helped to go that fast on the bike. So I'm curious this year as to if we are able to go that fast, because I think what we did last year with the help from Sam was a masterclass in how to pace a bike leg in a full distance.
So when I look at that, when you go 7:24, that's one of those races you put in the time capsule. When it's 46 minutes, 3:57, 2:37, 7:24, it's like the fastest time ever, right? For the distance. And again, it was one of those things is once Sam dropped out, but you do know that you had to keep the pressure on because you're on 2:37 and the guy behind you is running what, 2:30, 2:30?
Yeah, just 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30. Yeah, he's taking 7 minutes out of you and you're running 2:37.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
It's crazy to think of, because I think 2:37 was a pretty good marathon time, but then he just kept gaining. It's crazy.
That is so crazy. Now I chatted with Patrick yesterday, and he's done 10 sub 240 marathons in his career now at races, which is pretty unbelievable. But somebody's going to go sub 230, and I think it's going to be him, and I think it could be on Sunday. So when
I think so too. I mean, you look at the last year, he had a toilet stop.
Yes.
And he was 27 seconds, I think.
Yeah, it was like 2:30, 27 or something like that.
And that was like plus 30 degrees warm.
Yes.
So just from conditions, if you look on Sunday, it's going to be maybe maximum 19 degrees. So just by pure environmental conditions, that should just make him go below. Just if he races at the same intensity as last year, because it's colder, then he should be able to break it. So I expect him to do it. Yeah.
What's fun is when you look at you're a guy who you did well in Alcatraz in the cold. You won in Miami in the heat. It's like the conditions now mentally you have to be thinking. Doesn't really matter. This was hot last year. I remember being at the finish, and it was brutal at the finish. It was so hot. Yeah. So, does it matter to you what the conditions are?
I think I will be able to race well in either way, but I really hope it's going to stay dry, because when you introduce rain, it just there is so much just uncertainties that is thrown into it. The risk of punctures increase, and I have prepared so well, so the last thing I want is like mechanical stuff that I cannot control. So for me, it doesn't matter if it's 19 or 30 degrees, but I would prefer not to have wet roads. So
wet roads, and these are the nicest roads around.
Yeah,
they
really
do such a great job with these roads. You're someone who likes consistency. You come here, you got the same family, staying at the same place. This race is something that's part of who you are now. Is it? Do you feel as soon as you get here, you feel comfortable?
Yeah, for sure. As soon as I land in Munich, everything is taken care of by the amazing organization and community. And I think it's like coming back to my second home every time I come back here, and know it better and better every time I come. And I'm surprised every time how Felix and the team managed to make small adjustments and improvements here and there that just adds up. Like it's the small things that they just do incredibly well. Yeah.
So after Alcatraz, actually even leading Alcatraz, you've been training up in the mountains in Colorado.
Yeah.
Loving it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was the best camp of my life. I think it was. I really enjoyed my time up there. Not
empty
just
roads.
Yeah, not just because of the training, but also I really like the area. It's people think where we stayed was like really remote and no one around, but it was actually, there was a small city with restaurants and cafes and a supermarket and so on. So you didn't go too crazy, and it was just I had my two of my best friends and my girlfriend there, and it was super.
How
super
perfect
well,
is that for you?
And then I felt so amazing when I came down afterwards.
Oh, I bet.
So that just adds to it. Yeah.
So after this is a lead in to Kona.
Yeah, so after this I have a race in PTO London.
Oh, that's right, London. A couple weeks,
Yeah, 3 weeks, and then because I have planned the season so that I raced all the previous T100s, that means that I have from London until Kona, which is like almost 3 months stretch to prepare specifically for Kona, which is of course one of my highlights of the year.
So now you've won this twice, and hopefully going for the three-peat. And a year where you get a three-peat in Roth and potentially win your first Ironman World Championship, that would be, again, we talk time capsule, that would be one of those time capsule years.
Yeah, I mean, it's, for me, Roth and Kona are the two biggest full distance races in the world
no question.
By such a big margin that nothing really comes close to that. And I think if you could win both in the same year, maybe Jan has done that, I'm not sure.
I think he has,
that would for sure be a testament and a statement that you are among the best in the world, and it's something that motivates me a lot.
Now, is there training for both Roth and for Kona? Is it that different?
No, not really. It's also because what we did with Colorado was also kind of a test to what we want to do before Kona. So we wanted to do that before Kona to see how it works, as it's a little bit risky going that high, but so far it seems it worked really well. So it will be, I will probably go back to altitude.
We go back to Colorado
to prepare for Kona, and that
that's good, because you're not, you go right from Colorado to Kona.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Breaks up the trip as well, and you're not 12-hour time zones. So that's what is also one of the reasons why we went there, was to check out the area before, so I kind of know when I return where everything is and how to get the good training in. So there has been a plan of the season,
And so that, would you also, after Kona, do you think 70.3 Worlds, or you're like,
no.
You started your season early. It's a long season.
I will be happy if I mean, then there are also two very important T100 races after Kona.
Right.
So those are, and
that
then after
priority.
that my season is going shut down. Then it's been already, it's going to be now the fun really starts. I mean, it's been some good season or some good races so far, but I think it has been important not to overdo it, because with Roth and then some T100s and Kona, that's really where you want to perform as well. So.
Well, and sometimes nobody wants to get injured and coming back from a broken wrist, but sometimes taking time off like that and not training or training a little differently, it ends up in the long run being a good thing, because you're fresher.
Yeah. Also mentally, like sometimes it's good to get a kick in the butt, and even though it wasn't really my fault, but you still get. You think like how my mind works still is I saw it as a small like defeat in some way, even though it wasn't really in my control, but you still kind of get back to square one and have to
you feel like you're starting over.
Yeah, exactly. So
love it.
It just made me even hungrier for racing.
What's fascinating is that's really, when you look back at the Mark Allen and Dave Scott, and those guys always train in Colorado leading into Kona. And they would come down like 3 weeks before Kona and go right to Kona and get ready for the race. So How early will you get to Kona?
We haven't. It will be either 2 or 3 weeks before. So it depends on. We are doing some blood tests also to see how the altitude effects drops off. How long time it takes for me before the
everybody's a little different.
Increased levels get back to normal. So it depends a little bit on that, and then also, obviously, the ideal thing would be to come to Kona very close to the race, but then you don't prepare for the heat, and you can have that as much altitude training as you want, but if you're not heat prepared, then you will screw up everything.
And sometimes you get there too early, and there's too you get flat. Yeah. So it's balancing that is always tough.
So it will be between 2 or 3 weeks before. Yeah.
Magnus, thank you for always being so generous with your time. I love what you bring to our sport.
Pleasure.
Just going back to when we first chatted at Challenge Daytona back in the day, and Miami, and just watching you grow as an athlete and as a leader of the sport has been really, really special. Thanks
for always having me and wanting to talk to me.
I love chatting with you. I learn something every single time. 2-time Challenge Roth champion Magnus Ditlev has been our guest, everybody. Hold on. We will be right back.